Hello, my name is Chemika, and I'll be reading the stage directions and the part of Raven.
Hi, I'm Paul Hopkins, and I'll be reading the role of Allan and King Rafe.
Hi, my name's Daniela. I'm reading the part of Morgan, Annoud, and Manservant.
Ryan Hughes, I'm playing Sean, Michael, and various audience members.
Molly Flood, I'll be playing Abbey, Iris, and Little Girl.
William Lavinia, I'll be playing Kendall.
Tom Melissis reading Toby, Tayne, and Man with Binoculars. That's a good song.
Let's Not Get Eaten, pilot created and written by Daniel Fishbayn. Interior, bomb shelter, morning. A man stares confidently into our eyes. All around him, there is darkness. This is Toby, 34, tall and handsome, exuding confidence and charisma.
You are the students of a great art form, one that teaches discipline, self-knowledge, communication, and bravery. Over the past 4 months, I have taught you everything I know.
As we pull back, we see 5 nervous figures seated on either side of a tiny concrete room. They look sweaty and unkempt, their clothes filthy as if worn for weeks. Allan, 68, a gray-haired older gentleman, smiles pleasantly with his hand raised.
Question, Allan?
What art form is that, Toby?
Improv. Improv, Allan. The thing we've been practicing every day.
Oh, yeah. Yes, of course. Sorry.
Toby continues with just a hint of resentment in his voice.
My point is that our journey has gone so much deeper than mere yes and ing and object work. None of us expected my Tuesday night beginner workshop to end up here in a bomb shelter under my apartment building, fleeing nuclear fallout. None of us expected to be trapped in here for 4 long months. But today, I look around and I see that we were ready. Which is why I've given you a name. A battle cry that unites you all, that signifies all you've been through. You are Storm of the Dead.
Really, Toby? You think we're ready to perform professionally?
Ready to go outside, Allan? Actually, we're out of food. So our readiness isn't really the point.
Morgan, a doe-eyed young man of color, raises his hand.
Morgan?
So on your scouting mission, did you see any 3-armed mutants, or is that just like a movie thing?
Sean, 31, hair gelled and dress shirt buttoned up despite being as dirty as the others, taps his foot impatiently.
That's not how radiation works. Trust me, I've watched an entire Nat Geo series about the nukes.
Kendall, 30, a queer woman with a side shave and wearing thick-rimmed glasses, glares at Sean from across the benches.
Did one of your Bay Street Coke homies recommend that to you?
Yeah, as a matter of fact.
Abbey, 23, meek, Rafe-like, and wrapped in a gray pea coat, chimes in beside him.
I was actually wondering, never mind, it's stupid, I shouldn't have even brought it up.
You didn't.
Toby, just give it to us straight. We want to hear it, right? Oh, yes?
There's a general shrug and a nodding in agreement.
Okay, I'll give it to you straight. The Toronto we called home is gone. The blast and the ensuing radiation seem to have wiped out around 90% of the population. Survivors have split into 5 tribal hordes, each in a different area of the city. All have turned to cannibalism for sustenance, and now are embroiled in a kind of endless gang war. Every day, there are skirmishes in the streets, the winners feasting like wild dogs upon the losers. As for our loved ones, probability-wise, they're almost certainly dead. Even if they somehow survived, radiation poisoning will have dealt a fate worse than death.
Silence. Then, an all-out panic.
No.
Kendall shouts no over and over. Morgan curls into fetal position on the floor, and Abbey just sobs quietly in her lap. Sean punches the wall.
God damn it!
And what? Stay calm. I have a plan.
And I have a plan. They instantly stop panicking and listen.
While I was out scouting, I made a little discovery.
Interior, exterior, Toby's car. Day. Flashback. Toby wipes the window of a silver sedan parked in an alleyway. The car is covered in soot, but otherwise intact.
Morgan's Kia Forte. With Kia's patented Eco Mode fuel savings, there should be enough gas in the tank to get us out of the city. I used to own a Kia.
The bomb shelter, present. Toby puts his hand on Morgan's shoulder.
Can we use your sporty hatchback?
Morgan looks up at Toby apologetically, then at the group.
Actually, it's my mom's sporty hatchback. And there's bad news. I left the key at the theater.
Oh,
Everyone groans.
great. So how the hell are we supposed to get past a fucking horde of cannibals?
How? Haven't you learned anything in the past 4 months? Look,
Toby grins. He smiles at each of them as he mentions them.
how did Morgan learn to stop worrying about what others think? How did Abbey learn how to take the stage boldly without fear? How did Kendall and Sean learn how to listen actively to one another? And how did Allan delay the cold touch of death a little bit longer? How, you ask? We do what we always do. We improvise. Yes.
Roll opening credits. End of teaser. Act 1, exterior, Bloor Street, West, day. A hellscape. Human skulls lay piled all over a city street. Burnt out cars sit rusting like mechanical skeletons. Toby's head peeps out from behind a pile of skulls, scanning the street. Blocking their path across the street are 2 burnt out vans with a narrow gap in between them. He turns back and motions to the 5 improvisers, who scamper to follow him.
Scones. Flank on all sides. Classic Herald formation.
As if rehearsed, the improvisers spread out into 3 sets of pairs. Kendall and Abbey flank left, Toby and Allan hook right, and Sean darts past Morgan through the center.
To infinity and beyond. Booyah!
Sean takes a running start and does an unnecessary but impressive barrel roll through the gap between the vans.
Gross.
To infinity and beyond.
Morgan attempts to do the same barrel roll, but trips and face plants. His foot knocks an aluminum can as he falls. Clang, clang, clang. Everyone winces at the sound. Down the street. 100 feet down, a mangy golden retriever sniffs through the wreckage. At the sound, its ears lift and spots the improvisers. It bares sharp teeth and jolts towards them.
Is that a golden retriever? Yeah, and I think it wants to retrieve you.
They all rush into an adjacent alleyway. Morgan, however, freezes in fear as he stares at the dog coming toward him.
Morgan, move it!
The dog barrels down the street, mouth watering, eyes trained on its target. Toby rifles through the pack of supplies. The dog is within about 10 feet of Morgan. Just as it leaps up and pounces on its victim, clunk! A thick brick of processed meat flies directly into its mouth. The dog lands in front of Morgan, tearing away at its dinner. We pan over to Toby, who proudly holds a tin of spam.
Remember, there are no bad offers, only bad dogs. Morgan, unfreeze.
Morgan snaps out of it. They all run through the alleyway. Exterior, the Nasty Newt Theater, continuous. A stylish sign reads, "The Nasty Newt, Live Comedy Theater." Below it, the street sign is a grim landscape of skeletons lying all over, along with down power lines and more burnt out cars. The 6 improvisers run frantically to the door.
Scones, inside!
Interior, 2nd floor landing. The scones reach the top of a flight of stairs and try to catch their breath. Morgan looks visibly traumatized.
Pretty sure that was my friend's dog, Ruby. She was cuter before she had the taste of human flesh.
Toby tries the door. Nope.
Locked. We need the spare key. Everyone, look around. It should be somewhere on the landing.
They begin hunting around in various nooks for us.
I found it!
They all spin towards Allan. Allan holds up nothing. But he beams at them with joy.
Let's give it a try, shall we? Oh. Yes.
They all just stare at Allan in disbelief. Sean stares at the door like he's about to go MMA on it.
Break it down.
What? No, that would defeat the entire point.
Enough talk. It's time for action.
You have to get through me first, Schwarzenegger.
You got a better idea?
Yeah, stop trying to terminate the door and use the spare key like civilized people.
Very faintly, far off in the distance, the faint sound of drumming. Only Abbey is observant enough to notice it.
Guys, I think,
Kendall steps closer to Sean. There's a menacing, subdued rage in her voice. like a cannon ready to fire at any moment.
What is your deal, Sean? You could have seen the Dave Matthews Band one last time.
Just trust me, I'm a stockbroker. Like, I'm good in crisis situations.
Did you just say the words, trust me, I'm a stockbroker? Do you even listen to yourself talk?
No, but all 34 subscribers to my podcast do.
You know that's not a lot, right?
Allan attempts to intervene, but Kendall steps even closer to Sean. Their noses are practically touching now.
Friends, please.
I'd fight you if you were a dude.
Oh, you want to go? You think you can withstand the white-hot rage of an angry feminist?
Hit me! I'm obligated as a Muay Thai master to disarm you.
Oh yeah? Disarm this!
She shoves him. He shakes his head, about to lose it, and gets right back in her face. Their noses are touching.
Don't touch me.
You're being
Don't test
tested!
me. Don't
Make a move!
Shut up! Just shut up for a second. Just
They all stare at Abbey. She seems to have their attention.
listen.
They all listen, the sound of tribal drums growing louder. Sean sidesteps Kendall while she's distracted and shoulder slams the door. The hinges snap and the door falls into the room. Clunk. Sean sneers at Kendall as they all rush in. Interior, lobby of the Nasty Newt. The lobby of the theater is in shambles, clearly having been decimated by the blast. The floor space is a mess of toppled chairs, broken glass, and ticket rolls. Louder drumming.
Let's lift this door.
Yes, let's.
Together, the six of them lift the door and push it back into the doorway. Footsteps can now be heard coming from the street, along with vicious, animalistic grunts.
Push.
They all push the door against its frame, bracing just in time for a huge thump from outside. The unseen attackers hiss at each other, their words indistinguishable.
Hold steady.
Another huge thump. The improvisers recoil a few inches. More hissing, then finally silence. The footsteps fade down the staircase. The improvisers breathe a sigh of relief.
We made it.
And we did it together. All thanks to your guidance, Toby.
Allan shakes Toby's hand eagerly. Toby looks out at them.
You see, this is the life lesson that improv teaches us. When we work together, combining our unique skills to seize every opportunity, nothing can stop us.
Wham! A sudden thrust against the door, and it swings open where Toby has loosened his grip. Two pairs of filthy, spindly hands reach through, grab Toby by the shoulders and legs, respectively, and begin to pull him out through the gap. The other improvisers rush towards him.
Toby! No! 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 God, no!
They scramble to pull Toby out of the attacker's grip, but it's too late. Toby disappears through the doorway. More hands reach through, grabbing at them.
Let him go! Push!
Frantically, they push the door against the frame once more. On the other side, shrieks of celebration over Toby's screams of terror as they carry him away.
Ah, God, no!
The shrieks fade out. They look at each other in shock.
I call his rations.
Fade out. End of Act 1. Act 2. In the darkness, an orchestral flourish, led by a rollicking piano line. It builds to a very Broadway opening number chord progression, and the echoey voice of a child seems to come from another world.
I'm Rosie, really Rosie, and I'm Rosie real. You better believe me, I'm a great big deal. Believe me, believe me.
An adorable little girl, 8 years old, is on stage singing. The song concludes to rapturous applause. The little girl waves at the audience. But something is wrong. The house lights go up, revealing gaunt faces, tattered clothing, bloodshot eyes, and they're cannibals, creeping towards her hungrily. In a flash, they rush the stage. When we turn back, the little girl has become the grown-up Abbey. The cannibals are right in front of her. Abbey screams at the top of her lungs. One of them opens her mouth wide to reveal sharpened yellow teeth, which sink into Abby's throat. Interior lobby of the Nasty Newt, morning. Abbey jolts upwards out of sleep. Morgan, standing over her with concern, stumbles backward.
Fuck, shit, oh my God.
Jesus. Bad dream?
She gives him a look like, you don't want to know. Around her, makeshift beds line the floor of the lobby. They're all empty, except hers.
Where is everyone?
Rehearsal.
Interior, main stage of the Nasty Newt. Moments later, Sean, Kendall, and Allan are gathered on the small main stage in the performance space. Abbey and Morgan enter.
Rise and shine, Hermione.
Please, Stop calling me that.
Alright, sorry, forgot nicknames are problematic now. Okay, clap focused.
Sean strikes his hands together like a gunshot, as if to shock everyone into attentiveness. Abbey flinches at the loud thwap and glares at him as she receives the clap. The clap exchange continues precariously, with each improviser still looking shell-shocked. When it returns to Sean, he does the same gunshot clap to Morgan. Morgan doesn't even see it. He's staring at his shoes, which are spattered with dried blood. Interior lobby area, the day before, flashback. Morgan watches as the cannibals' talon-like fingernails dig into Toby's leg, exposed by his shorts. Specks of blood spray out and land on Morgan's shoes. Morgan is frozen in horror as Toby gets yanked through the door.
Morgan, yo buddy, look alive.
The main stage, present. Morgan looks around sadly. He lifts his hands, but instead of passing the clap, just flops forward on his knees.
I can't do this, you guys.
Sure you can. Just take one hand, smack it against the other.
What are you, a psycho?
No, I'm doing what Toby would have wanted. Remember his whole spiel about practicing every day?
Oh God, it is.
Abbey goes over to comfort Morgan, while clearly becoming emotional herself.
Don't cry, Morgan. Sure, Toby was our mentor, our hope of survival, an incredible leader to us all. Oh God, why, Toby? Why?
Come on, incredible leader. I mean, we paid him $10 for a workshop, and then he let us into his bomb shelter so he could keep it private.
Is that what you tell yourself, you living glob of penis envy?
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming.
Abbey, hearing this, wipes her tears and stares at Sean.
What's that? You're whispering?
It's just something that I tell myself when idiots get in my face.
Just keep swimming? Like Dory in Finding Nemo, right?
I mean, yeah, I guess that's where it originated.
I know you.
Everyone looks at Abbey. Sean seems suddenly nervous.
Nah, you're obviously confusing me for...
Just shut up, Sean. Abby, we're intrigued. Please continue.
Well, when I was 8 or 9, I was a huge fan of everything Disney, and there was this club, Disney 416. It consisted entirely of little girls from the area, except for one member, this teenage boy who was a little weird, yet so genuine in his love for Disney. He would cram as many Disney quotes as he could into everyday life.
She comes to face Sean, who is red with embarrassment.
To infinity and beyond, booyah!
Toy Story and the Emperor's New Groove in a single catchphrase.
There's a stunned silence from the rest of the improvisers.
Sean is,
An adult Disney fan, or at least he was one. I like the old you better.
Another silence. Sean looks around, speechless, then tries to start another gunshot clap to Allan. Everyone groans. The lobby. The lobby door, which the improvisers have propped up on its hinges, creaks open. A pry bar appears and 2 men creep in. They are Annoud, late 30s, and Tayne, early 40s. While Annoud is lean, sassy man with a ponytail, Tayne is like a human boulder, the kind of man-hulk often found working as a bouncer or shot putter. Each wields a rusted machete. They are clad ridiculously in hockey helmets and shoulder pads. Both wear a red cloth over their chest plates with the insignia, bloodhounds, and the shape of a hound beneath.
Shh. Oopsies.
They giggle as they peer in through the theater door window. On the stage, the improvisers are now playing the red ball, a variation on the clap focus in which the imaginary ball is added into the mix. Sean spins quickly and launches a baseball pitch at full speed, straight at Kendall.
Blue ball!
Like a true improviser, Kendall takes the ball smack in the face. Her head whips backward with the impact.
ah, fuck!
Whoops, I thought you were ready.
Kendall stares at Sean, studying his motives.
You trying to save face now that we know your little secret, Sean?
You trying to forget about how your girlfriend dumped you right before the nuclear apocalypse? Yeah, you should really get one of those peek screens for your phone.
This sets Kendall off. She grabs the invisible blue ball from where it landed on the floor and immediately whips it at Sean. Smack! Right in the groin. He shrieks in pain. Kendall stands over Sean as he withers on the floor.
Ooh, sorry, Sean. Was that a sensitive spot for you?
Abbey, Morgan, and Allan exchange looks of exasperation. The audience door. At the door, the two cannibals step away from the window, lower their machetes. Far from brutal savages, they sound more like the guys from Queer Eye.
Ooh, the dark-skinned guy is cute.
So your type.
King Rafe is gonna love them. I can't wait to watch him squirm.
Oh, you know I get when you talk dirty and sassy to me.
Annoud smirks and they make out passionately. They get up and push each other through the door, still going at it. In the auditorium, Morgan is the first to spot the two machete-wielding men as they love tumble into the theater. They then pretend to be surprised to see the improvisers.
Guys? Oh, hi, are you done in here? Because Tayne and I actually have the space booked right now.
Annoud and Tayne both burst out laughing. The improvisers are frozen, eyes fixed on the machetes.
Just a little joke to ease the tension. Now, please, don't panic.
The scones enter, an instant panic, scampering pathetically to all corners of the stage in an attempt to hide.
I tried.
You tried.
Silence!
Annoud hacks the floor with his machete. Boom! Everyone freezes once again. In the silence, Annoud and Tayne stalk with warlike stares to the foot of the stage.
That's a little better. As I was saying, no need to panic. We are assassins sent by His Majesty King Rafe to slaughter you.
The improvisers all lurch away from them instinctively. Annoud raises his machete again as a warning, freezing them.
Next person who moves loses a digit. Now, although we were sent to slaughter you, there's good news. Your lives will be extended.
Life extensions? What?
You see, our people, the Blue West Bloodhounds, desire many things. Not only food, but also fools and gladiators for their entertainment.
Nothing good on Netflix these days.
The issue is, we're perpetually running low on talent. Bloodsport has a very high turnover rate.
That's showbiz for you.
Which is where you five come in. We could use a fresh batch of, whatever it is you call yourselves. What do you say?
Annoud, this is so twisted of you to pretend like they have a choice.
I think I'm in love with you.
They make out again, their machetes still held. The scones exchange looks of terror. We hear drumming as we cut to exterior City Park later. A makeshift military encampment set up on the grass outside a community center building. There are canvas tents, barracks, picnic tables, the mess hall, and a jungle gym, King Rafi's palace. A concrete pathway is lined with rowdy tribespeople. We see that Annoud and Tayne are leading the improvisers through the camp like military spoils. Exterior, main pathway. The improvisers' hands are bound with rope. On either side, tribespeople are pointing and laughing at them. Morgan appears to be praying under his breath. Sean is glancing around wildly past the strange denizens. He elbows Morgan with annoyance.
Shh. I'm trying to scout an escape route. I saw this on a show about POWs in Nome.
Please don't let the dark-skinned dude die first this time, please.
Behind them, Kendall is trying to comfort Abbey.
The most important thing we can do is stay calm.
Up ahead, Kendall sees two motorcycles pull in. A woman removes her helmet, her hair whipping majestically in the wind. This is Iris, 32. Kendall gulps with emotion. The other rider, a tall, muscular woman in battle gear, Raven, 29, approaches and razzes Iris. They share a hot kiss.
Son of a bitch!
I thought you said we should.
Fuck that. I got business here now.
Behind them, Allan is smiling widely and addressing the tribespeople like he's an honored guest.
Thanks. I look forward to playing with you all.
Exterior, the jungle gym. They arrive at a large play structure. Atop the high central platform, a man wearing a red cape and plastic crown, King Rafe, 47, sits on a lawn chair and stares at a clipboard. Annoud approaches the base of the play structure formally.
Presenting Scone of the Dead. Fools for your perusal, King Rafe.
King Rafe hands his clipboard to a young manservant, 23, and offers a dim smile to the 5 newcomers as he studies them.
Hey, you guys, thanks for coming out. Listen, are you thirsty? You must be thirsty. Do you want some piss water? It's sterile. It's fantastic. Scott, can we get these guys some distilled piss water?
Fuck no.
Why is anyone drinking piss, man? That's
He
gross.
just said it was sterile. Yeah, I'll drink your piss water.
5 piss waters for the folks. So, Annoud, Tayne, tell me what you got. Tell me you got some good comedy material.
The improvisers look at him in silence. Annoud spanks Sean with a machete. Tell him.
Yeah, we do improv.
Improv? No shit. I used to do theater sports at the Nasty Newt for years and years.
Wait, Gary Rafeman? From Sky Pigs?
Oh, shucks. You've heard of me.
Dude, your shows literally inspired me to do improv. Why'd you stop?
Life gets in the way, law school, career stuff, got married, had kids, the whole shebang.
Yeah.
The manservant returns and whispers in King Rafe's ear.
Really? Like now? Sorry, I'm due at the fire pit to burn some traitors.
So you're not gonna eat us?
Eat you? Hell no. You're headlining the show tonight. You got a big future here if you stick around.
The scones all exchange looks of stunned relief.
Just pick a sacrifice.
Instantly, they all tense up again and stare at Rafe.
What do you mean sacrifice?
I mean, let us know by tonight who you could do without. If you guys win, you get the royal treatment. If you lose, we'll slit their throat and serve them for dinner. Break a leg tonight.
King Rafe descends and heads off towards a smoking pit with Scott in tow. The scones are speechless, except for Sean, who watches King Rafe go with glee.
Oh, Gary Rafeman. No shit.
Exterior picnic table, later. At a picnic table in the mess hall, the 5 scones sit eating canned baby corn and chickpeas, their lunch.
So we for sure can't just run away, right? Because they find us and... Yeah, I just lost my appetite.
Let us know who you can do without? Is he for real?
I mean, let's be honest, we could afford to skim down a bit.
Abby, sitting on the grass nearby, flinches at this. Without warning, she gets up and walks off. No one notices.
Has no one here seen Man vs. Wild? Improvise, adapt, overcome. And not all of us can improvise. So maybe we need to adapt in order to overcome.
Kendall gets up, shaking her head.
That's it. I'm going for a walk before I go tangled on Sean's ass.
Morgan spots Abby across the field.
Shit. Abby, I'm gonna go talk to her. Don't throw out my baby corn.
Morgan hurries after Abby, leaving only Allan and Sean. Allan looks at Sean with kind eyes, as if pitying him.
I like the movie Toy Story.
Let's not.
Exterior, community center entrance, a minute later. A spray-painted sign reads, Bloor West Bloodhounds. Below it, a dog foaming at the mouth. Kendall stands below the sign.
How adorable.
Interior, community center lobby. Kendall enters a large atrium full of cannibals. Most are gathered around a large map of Toronto. Others sharpen machetes on grindstones. A group of children are gathered around a woman in a shawl selling adorable mini machetes.
Since when do people own machetes in Toronto?
Kendall enters the turnstile, causing a loud ding as she goes through. Everyone turns to look.
Hi.
From within the crowd, the motorcycle riding woman from before steps out. They lock eyes longingly.
Iris.
Iris, tearing up, rushes off down a nearby hallway. Kendall follows, shoving awkwardly past the cannibals as they stare.
What? You never seen a grown lesbian cry before? Move!
Interior, basement, hallway. In the basement, Iris hurries down the hallway and enters an unmarked room. Kendall watches her go in. Interior, weapons storage room. Kendall steps through the doorway.
Iris?
A shadow moves behind her, and suddenly, there's a knife at Kendall's throat. Kendall gulps.
Why have you come back? Revenge? Blackmail? Hunger?
No. I'm still in love with you.
Really?
Shit. Exterior, the hockey rink. Morgan catches up with Abby just as she is passing a large outdoor hockey rink adjacent to the community center.
Abby, hey, wait up!
Abby shakes her head, doesn't turn. Morgan is beside her.
Why'd you run off?
Just, avoiding the embarrassment of being voted onto a dinner plate.
Come on, no one is gonna get voted out like that. Why would it be you?
Because I can't hold my own in a conversation, let alone a scene. Let's face it, I need improv more than improv needs me. I'm disposable.
Morgan shakes his head.
Look, Abbey, these past 48 hours have been the most fucked up of my entire life. In all likelihood, I'm gonna be slaughtered and eaten by a bunch of hungry scavengers. But if there's one thing I know, it's that you are not disposable.
Their eyes meet. They drift, ever so slowly together, their eyes closing, lips pursed.
Because when we work together, when we combine our strengths, no one can stop us.
Their eyes open, and they pull back, stunned. The voice of Toby is unmistakable. Coming from within the hockey rink, they scramble to a small slit between two planks. Inside the rink, at the center of the concrete, 5 ragged people stand around Toby, who proselytizes with a hockey stick atop the wooden crates. He works masterfully on each one as he speaks.
A few hours ago, you were savages. Prisoners of war who have never, ever even seen an improv show. Now, you're professionals. Michael, making bold character choices. Ellen, looking out for her teammates.
I don't believe it.
Now who are we? Say it loud.
Captive Crunch!
They do a group high five and break out into battle cries.
But group 5s were our thing.
Looks like we need a new thing.
The storage room. Iris seems torn as she takes a good look at her former lover. She nods toward the open door.
The door.
Kendall pivots towards the door and closes it. When she turns back, Iris hasn't moved.
Huh. Thought that was a moment. You know, I closed the door, then when I turned back, you lay it on me thick like it was just old times.
Okay, this isn't some Mad Max-inspired fantasy. We've all made sacrifices in order to
What
survive.
the hell does that mean?
I've been forced to adapt.
You went cannibal? Iris.
Human flesh is full of essential nutrients. Plus, have you ever actually tasted a man's kidney?
I can't say that I have.
Well, they're fucking delicious.
A beat. Kendall shrugs, undeterred.
Okay, so you 8 people now. What does that have to do with us?
A boom as the door is kicked open. The gothic warrior woman, Raven, walks in, glancing around. Kendall's face drops. There you are, babe! You had me kicking down doors all over this place. Who's your friend?
Raven, meet Kendall. We dated a long time ago. She does improv.
Raven gives Kendall's hand 2 powerful yanks. Kendall glances at Iris. What the fuck? Improv! What a coincidence! We were just about to go watch some crappy improvisers die. Raven wraps a muscular arm around Iris and matches Kendall's death stare. Gotcha. Just fucking with you, Kenzie.
Kendall.
Right. Candle. Ready to go, babe?
Yeah. You coming or blood sport's too much for you?
Oh, I'll be there.
As Iris and Raven leave, Iris turns back with a regretful look, but walks on. Kendall, shaken with anger, turns to the pile of machetes in the center of the room and grabs one. End of Act 2. Act 3, exterior jungle gym, evening. Dozens of cannibals are excitedly amassing at King Raf's palace for the big show. We pan across the field to exterior park, washroom, building. A small concrete building with metal doors painted green. A wooden plank nailed to the outer wall reads, Green Room. The green room, in what looks like to be the men's washroom, Sean and Allan sit against the wall. The door opens. It's Abbey and Morgan.
Where the hell have you guys been?
We did a little unplanned recon. Guess what? Toby's not dead.
Ah, joyous day.
The door opens again and Kendall enters. She pulls the machete out of her waistband.
Whoa, you stole a machete. Wait, why did you steal a machete?
Personal use, don't worry about it.
Far off, they hear the sound of a horn being blown.
This is when Toby would have given us a pep talk.
Sean perks up at this. He steps forward. Everyone watches him with doubtful looks on their faces.
Great man once said that survival can be summed up in 3 words. Don't give up.
Was it Bear Grylls?
Sean looks at Morgan as if surprised it was that obvious.
God, Sean, is there not a single person you respect who doesn't grapple with panthers for a living?
We better go. I heard latecomers get their spleens ripped out.
Sean looks around desperately. They're still terrified. He sighs deeply, then continues, suddenly sweet and expressive.
Okay. How about this one? You're braver than you believe. You're stronger than you seem. You're worth more than you know. And you're smarter than you think.
A wave of calm and confidence seems to pass through the room.
Was that Bear Grylls too?
No, Winnie the Pooh. Only bear I ever really needed.
As Sean says this, he looks to Abbey, who smiles.
Now, who are we?
Scone of
Scone
the
of the
dead.
I can't hear you.
Scone of the dead.
It's showtime.
The pathway. Sean walks ahead of the scones as they stride up the pathway. Allan stops short and points up ahead.
Look!
Across the path, Toby is leading captive Crunch towards them. As he reaches the scones, Toby raises his hockey stick, and his followers halt in a line, a mirror image.
Oh, hello. Fancy meeting you here.
Toby, thank God you're alive!
Allan steps toward Toby to go for a hug, overjoyed. Toby shuns him with a jab of his hockey stick.
Get back, I say.
We thought you were dead, dude.
Right. Because getting carried out by cannibals automatically means they kill you. Like how they didn't kill you? Come on.
We're so sorry, Toby.
We're sorry. It's too late now. Get ready to watch some real improv. Captain Crunch, to your positions!
The scones watch in shock as captive Crunch strut towards the jungle gym, where dozens of cannibals are seated cross-legged on the wood chips. Toby starts expertly rallying the crowd, waving his hockey stick like a brute.
We're gonna die.
The jungle gym, 10 minutes later. On stage, Toby pretends to stir 4 other teammates inside a giant cauldron, like some cannibalistic warlock. Michael, 40s, from the hockey rink, seems to be playing his sidekick.
Hope y'all like my dentist al dente.
I can taste the fluoride. And see.
The cannibals go wild, stabbing the air with their machetes. Toby leads his minions off stage, past the scones.
You hear that? That's called playing your audience. Take notes.
The scones wince at this, their confidence clearly shaken.
I feel so guilty, and yet I also want to destroy him.
A low drum roll comes from the stage pit.
That's us.
The stage pit. As they take the stage, Abbey stares out the sea of cannibals with machetes at the ready, her nightmare. The rest of the scones are frozen too. In the awkward silence, someone boos them. Then, more boos.
Do something.
The heckling rings through Abby's ears. She steps backward, overwhelmed. Then, to her left, she spots Morgan. He's shivering with terror.
No.
Suddenly, to everyone's shock, Abbey strides to the front of the stage. The audience quiets, watching her next move.
We need a suggestion of an object you use in your daily life.
Grizzled voices ring out from all corners of the audience.
Machete!
Sawed-off shotgun.
Garrett Wire.
Lead pipe.
Like a drill.
Maybe an object that isn't a killing weapon.
Boo!
Abby flinches at the aggression.
Okay, garrote wire.
Allan and Morgan step forward while the other scones from wings on either side. Allan pulls tight on 2 invisible handles as if conjuring a Garrett wire. Then, hesitating, he twangs it like a musical instrument.
Look, son, I built a guitar.
Morgan stares at the guitar, impressed.
Cool, Dad. I'm gonna build my own.
As Morgan pretends to start stringing his own guitar, the crowd starts booing again in disappointment.
What the hell is this?
Kill something!
Kill him!
As if to punctuate this command, someone flings a machete at the stage. It lands with a thwack a couple of feet in front of Allan. He gulps in terror.
Do you think,
We can kill him with the wire!
Allan stares at the ground, trapped. With great hesitation, he gets up. The audience roars with approval. He takes a step towards Morgan. The audience roars again. As he walks up behind the seated Morgan, tears form in his eyes.
I'm sorry, friend.
Do it.
With grisly realism, Allan yanks the invisible wire over Morgan's neck and begins sobbing in horror while pulling with all his might. Morgan struggles hard, choking before passing out. The crowd shrieks with pleasure. In the wind, Sean, Kendall, and Abbey lock eyes and nod.
Well, we know what to do.
Sean sweeps the scene. What follows is a series of incredibly violent improv scenarios. Over and over, the improvisers murder one another with an array of invisible weapons while the crowd laughs and cheers like crazy. Kendall and Abbey stab one another with machetes. Sean cuts down Allan with a chainsaw. Abbey clocks Morgan with a lead pipe, then drags him away. Allan holds Sean back while Kendall slugs him in the stomach. As he's being pummeled, Sean glances up at King Rafe, whose eyes are fixed on the crowd. He's nodding ever so slightly. One more scene later, the Scones are all on stage together, stabbing each other with daggers until they all fall dead to the ground.
And scene.
Joyous dog howls from the crowd. King Rafe walks on stage accompanied by drumming. All are silent out of respect.
Oh, baby! That was ever fun! Now, while we all go home as winners tonight, only one of these teams can be the real winner. And as we know, the losing team...
The audience roars. The Scones look at each other in terror.
You know the rest. Folks, it's not even a contest. Tonight's winner is... Scone of the Dead!
Loud cheers! Without missing a beat, Captive Crunch are led back on stage by armed guards. Two servants enter carrying a silver tray on which rests a single machete. Toby steps forward and lifts the blade. From the 6 other performers, Michael is thrust forward onto his knees. He bows his head, bracing for the blow.
Your characters were a little too bold this time, Michael.
Without hesitation, Toby brings the blade crashing down. Thwack! Blood sprays everywhere. Toby, clearly deranged, picks up Michael's decapitated head and displays it for the audience, as if in tribute to the ritual itself.
Jesus fucking Christ! Okay, even I will admit that was pretty fucked up.
Join us next week for another episode of Theater Bloodsports! Hey! Okay, we're working on the title.
Annoud and Tayne arrive to escort the Scones.
Congrats, kiddies. You just bought yourselves another week. And you know what that means?
New digs!
As the Scones are led away, they notice Captive Crunch nearby. Toby huddles with his team, letting out a war cry.
Revenge will be ours! Yeah!
Interior, sleeping quarters, community center, an hour later. The Scones have settled into what was clearly once a change room, laying on bedrolls spread throughout the space. Kendall runs a finger along her stolen machete.
Don't worry, we'll get her back.
She stashes it under her pillow. A guard appears above her.
Someone here to see you.
The hallway. Kendall steps outside to find Iris standing there alone. Raven is waiting across the lobby area, out of earshot. Kendall tries to maintain her anger, but she can't do it.
You here to congratulate me on not getting eaten yet?
I wanted to apologize for earlier. I'm scared and confused.
You're confused?
Iris smiles. She kisses Kendall on the cheek with just the slightest bit of tongue.
You taste good. Just messing. See you around, okay?
Kendall feels her cheek tenderly, watching Iris go. Down the hallway, Iris and Raven share a passionate kiss and walk out together. Kendall wipes the kiss with her shirt sleeve.
God damn it.
The sleeping quarters. Morgan puts his glasses away, readying for sleep. Abbey lays a hand on his shoulder, crouching beside him.
Oh. Hey.
I was thinking about what you said. I realized even though I may be edible, I'm not disposable.
They chuckle together. Then they begin to lean closer. Out of nowhere, Allan comes right in, over top for a bear hug.
Bring it in, friends.
Allan releases them, and they glance at each other awkwardly.
Well, if you can
Good night.
see you, bye.
Allan goes for Sean and Kendall next with another big bear hug. When he lets go, the two are face to face.
Good work today. Taking out Morgan with that battle axe. It's clever.
Yeah, well, I liked your little heartfelt speech. even if you did quote from Winnie the Pooh.
What the hell does that mean?
That the Disney version sucks?
You take that back now.
What, you're gonna hit me?
Everyone, I found a way out!
Allan is pointing at a patch of the concrete wall. He mimics digging into the wall with an invisible shovel.
Yes, let's!
Go to
Go to sleep, Allan.
End of Act 3. Exterior, park outside, community center, night. A large sliding window has been opened to allow fresh air to the Scone sleeping quarters. On the hillside in the distance, a tiny light. As we zoom in, we see the light is coming from high-tech infrared binoculars, held by a 30-something man in camouflage. He zooms in on Sean, sleeping soundly.
You'll pay, traitor. And so will the rest of your new pack. The Bay Street Barbarians will rise. Ka-ching!
He does an unnecessary barrel roll backwards and runs off into the night. End of the episode.
Great read, guys. I know we're a little bit behind. We'll just do some feedback for Daniel, for the writer, including the actors, because you guys have actually more of an insight. You've read the books. Would anyone like to start? I've given Daniel $1 million.
That's pretty out there. I'm kind of going, this is drawn from his personal life.
Daniel is a zombie. He's an improviser. He's a professional
Oh, he's an improviser. Okay, that makes sense. No. Okay, cute. No, it's a lot of fun. It's out there, man. It's wacky.
Now many of you are improvisers, but those who are not improvisers, there's a bunch of inside jokes in there. Did you guys get them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
When it comes to like further episodes, have you got kind of a map on how the whole thing would go?
Yeah, I mean, not totally, but I think I just foresee like more kind of expansion of the world and like more like skirmishes with the other like tribes. Yeah, just kind of seeing where the characters.
Allan is the first to die. No, I'm just kidding. Well, he's 16. Yeah. Literally, probably the first.
I have a question for the writer. You see this as being an animation as well?
Yeah. Like,
My son would love it because he loves Plants vs. Zombies, and this whole thing has a lot of craziness to it.
Yeah, definitely considered that. I think I like because I know some improvisers in the community and kind of I see so much awesome talent in the community. I thought of it as something that like live action would be awesome because you can get like improvisers from the community to be in the show, but also animated is
Yeah, it cuts down on your location costs,
yeah.
wardrobe, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question for the audience, if anyone would like to answer. Yes, because this script is on the heavy side. It's 38 pages, a little heavy for a sitcom. It's okay to write your pilot a bit longer, but ultimately you're going to have to probably cut at least 5 pages, if not a little more, depending on if you go cable or not. Did anyone see any places to cut? Because we had a hard time cutting this down. Yes?
Yeah, I thought there was like, in Act 1 and Act 2, there were a couple scenes that went kind of, you extra lines and stuff when they were needed, like just in the apartment building before Toby gets pulled away, there was a couple lines which didn't seem needed.
Yeah, actually, Daniel, in this live read, it felt like Toby could die sooner. Like,
Yeah.
there's a couple of beats that I went, okay, good, as I read it out loud. But yeah, it's a hard one to cut because I enjoyed it so thoroughly. Like, we did cut a little bit, but not. Yeah.
I think it's definitely the case of you could cut a little bit out of a bunch of different scenes, and not. I don't think you'd have to cut pages because all the scenes seem like they have a point, but there's a little extra trimming that you can probably just add to, and then it'll make up enough to be published.
I love how you went into character work for all the 5 characters. Like, you really, and I know in future episodes you'll go deeper into more and deeper, but you really took the time to really set up each character, and that's a real strength of this. Anyone else? So, yes.
Yeah, just to add to that, I feel like it's a matter of, hey, that not every character has to speak for them to be present. And I feel like that's going to be the strongest thing, is knowing that based on the characters, like actual character traits, that's what's going to drive them to speak, not to retort or to like antagonize without kind of context. As for questions. Personally, I feel like there's a lot of things that she asks that it's supposed to be that she's sarcastic and like scarring, but it doesn't have to be necessarily constructed as a question to do that. It would actually make her statements more poignant if she's not just like constantly asking these sarcastic questions back. And then also for the king part, I absolutely love it with the playground and the crown of the cake. You're giving like real King Bob vibes right now with this. So there's no point in if you're making that reference or not, because I don't know, maybe it's just me.
And I love that it's set in Toronto. Does anyone want to buy the pilot? Sometimes that happens. But yeah, no, I think it's very sellable. It is out there. It's sellable in its out there-ness, and yet it's grounded in these real characters. That's what I loved about it. And did you get more or less laughs than you thought you'd get?
I'd like lots.
Lots. It's always it's really hard for the writer to sit and listen to whether so thank you guys.